Or like go, yeah.
What?
Nothing.
No, we're going. It's better. You start natural.
Yeah.
What's up?
Nothing, buddy. What's up with you?
I'm happy you're here.
Too, it's good to be back. Been a while.
What? Oh, I thought you said you know what.
No, I said it's been a while.
Whenever I said in the intro, whenever a Cape Bretonner comes on, I know my job's going to be easy. I just sit back and I just let you talk.
I think last time I was here, we actually finished the interview. And then we shut it off. And then we were sitting here and it was like another hour. And you were like, I should have just let this keep rolling.
Well, let's just make that hour this hour. We'll just keep rolling. Do you know what we were talking about?
No, I don't remember.
Well, I was saying also in the intro that opportunities have been falling in your lap, left, right, and center. And
Yeah.
I didn't want to say what it was in the intro because I want you to be able to talk about it and tell the people about what's going on. So essentially, one thing we grabbed coffee about a month ago, and you said that your life has just changed dramatically, things that you've been changing in your life, and how you've been able to. You didn't use the word magic, but you used one word that caught my eye, caught my ear. You're just like, the opportunities that have been falling in my lap due to the fact that I've changed this in my life, it's just been unbelievable. And I've tried. I haven't really succeeded so far because it's a lot of commitment, but. Talk about your life and what you've been doing and essentially how you're just killing it right now.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like opportunities falling into my lap, but it's more so like I'm aware of what's going on around me now. So like when things are kind of coming, I can just kind of accept them and go along with it. So I was recently gone sober. Yeah. 75 days now, so it's a big life change there for me. Especially if people who know me, I was like, what? How do you? So even when you go out with your buddies, still, like, when was the last time you went to a bar sober, like with your buddies? Oh well, I have to go like playing music, right? I'm out almost every week.
So how do you just not have a beer then?
There's a lot more to it than just that, right?
Well, then that's what we're here for. Don't say long story, like, 'cause that's what we're here for. You got to tell the story.
Absolutely, yeah. So I don't know, like when it's been a long time coming, like. Started junior days. It was, always a big party with us.
Yeah, always.
I think me and Poppy always had the party apartment. And then, I don't know, kind of rolled into the Molson Coors sales rep days. I did that for a long time. And then when I put that down, I kind of thought things were going to start turning around. Like, it kind of, I don't know, choice to go sober, it's not just like, oh, I don't want to drink anymore. It's because things start becoming, like, difficult.
Like everyday tasks
become difficult. Like you can start isolating yourself. Yeah. And you can mask it, right? And that's what I was really good at. Yeah. So I was really good at masking that, like everything's good, everything's all right. I had a smile on my face. I was still doing things and accomplishing things. Yeah. But like internally it wasn't cool.
Like you're a functioning alcoholic.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah. Functioning alcoholic, functioning addict. Yeah, for sure. So it just got to the point where like, I don't know, things kept happening and I don't know, it was almost like, I was talking about it the other day, that the more that was getting accomplished, like, the more sad, that side of things gets. Yeah. Because, like, you almost have these goals set in your life, and, we've set expectations for ourselves from,
day one.
From day one, right? And you think that when you get there, it's going to be all, rainbows and butterflies and all that, right? Yeah. And, like, what was happening to me was, like, I was getting like kind of ticking the things off the list, and then I'd be like, okay, well, I did that didn't work, like I'm still not happy internally, like, so then I'd go on to something else. I'd be able to tick that off the list and be like, well, that didn't work. You can move, you can change your locations, you can change what you eat, but like you just bring yourself with you. So then like when I started doing music, and it was kind of like, oh man, finally, like I'm doing music now, I can just be happy. Like I'm finally doing what I want to do, like you kind of making the choice to do this, right? And then it was like, I can finally be happy now. I'm doing music. And it's just not the case. Because it's that same thing, like, you bring yourself with you. So it's like there was more internal things going on. And then just before Christmas, there was a Cape Breton music industry cooperative contest, a CB mic contest. Okay. For emerging artists. Yeah. And there was an opportunity to open at Center 200 for Tips Eve. And it was open for Pretty Archie, Carmen Townsend, and Slow Coaster, which are like bands who I looked up to. Oh, sick. All the time. And so anyway, I finished top 3, so I got to play a showcase set for that.
You finished top 3?
Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
And that's unreal, man. You're overplaying that like that's not a big deal. That's insane. That's unreal.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, it was cool, man. It was a cool night. So it was at Center 200 right before Christmas, Tips Eve. Yeah, did a little showcase set.
That's Center 200.
Center 200, man.
Wow.
Last time I stood center ice there, I probably slashed you in the back of the legs.
That's unreal.
Yeah,
Good for you, man. That's so cool.
Yeah, it was cool. But that was kind of like, I don't know. Before that, I was kind of in a spot where it's like, man, like something needs to change.
Try to pull the mic a bit closer. Sorry.
You know, it was getting to a point where it was like something needs to change.
Yeah.
And then when I got to that point and I did that, and I was kind of like, I remember being backstage with all them, and in my head, I was kind of like, this should be like one of the coolest nights
Ever.
Yeah. Like this is where I wanted to be. Like this is where I wanted to, you know, when I started music, this is the point I wanted to get to. And then like when you internally are miserable and you can't enjoy it, it's scary. You're just like, this was it. Like, so it's like, now what? So
you're at the pinnacle of your career. You should be pumped, and you're just in the dumps.
Yeah, like things were happening, like good things were happening from it, and I like wasn't enjoying it because I was, you know.
So was that the moment where you're like, I need to change something, or was there a moment before?
No, it was before that. That was like the definite end point. Well, it kind of led up, but I think like at the end of last summer, just like gigging so hard and playing so hard that there's so much, you know, drinking and partying and using some stuff and all that like. It just got to a point where I hit a wall and I'm like, man, this can't happen anymore. Like, you know, as much as I'm playing and loving music, it's like at what cost? You know, relationships, you know, family.
Well, I was going to ask you that.
You're making some issues with your buddies. And
did buddies or family, anyone come up to you and say you need to change anything, or was it all you?
Yeah, for sure. So kind of what happened, like at the end of last summer, I reached out to a guy because, you know, it was just getting kind of bad and you start isolating yourself and it can get dark. And you don't know what to do though, right? Like, because we're raised, like, especially as hockey players, you like...
Tough it out.
Yeah. Like, figure it out. Like, you know, push through it, man.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah.
And I did that for way too long.
Yeah.
And I tried like years, you know, being like, and like, tomorrow I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. And it dates back to like, you know, there's other mental health issues that can happen that like, if they were dealt with earlier, it may not have, you know, the issues may not have gotten that far, right?
Of course.
And it may not, but they were undealt with because it was the same kind of mentality. It's like, oh no, push through it, man. You're tough. Like you can do this.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the route you're taught, like as a young age, especially like a male in sports and stuff, right?
And that's the biggest mistake you can make.
Big time, for sure. So that adds up over time, but you just keep trying to push it, but nothing gets better.
Yeah.
So then at the end of last summer, I was gigging pretty hard and things were going well, but you know, there was a lot of partying and using. And I remember there was one night, and it's kind of like the reason why I want to be open about like what I'm doing and how the like recovery can happen. And like there is some light on the other side. Yeah, life goes on, man. Like, you know, I couldn't be happier right now, like 75 days in. Obviously, there's a lot more I need to figure out and learn, and I'm not like better, but
75 days sober, man, I'd say you're doing better than most.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, like when I was at the point at the end of the summer, like the reason I want to be open about it is because if there was a guy in Toronto who I could relate to, his name's Jay Andrews, Sticks, back in the day.
Yeah, he's the DJ.
Yeah. So back in the day when I was doing the Molson Days here, he was DJing around.
I know him.
Yeah, so he's in Toronto now. He does like drum and fresh and McCausey.
We grew up in the same neighborhood right down the street in Rockingham.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I knew him in the Halifax days, and then just like when I was getting to that point at the end of the summer, he was very open about his recovery on Instagram. And, you know, he's always saying like how far along he was and always like just cool spiels about it and, you know, what tools he used. And I remember it was like late night and I was just at the point, like I was like, I need to do something. And I sent him a message.
Wicked. Right?
So like he was open about his, and if I didn't reach out to him that night, like just with any guidance, because I just didn't know, because there was, how many times did I say like, no, I'm not going to drink tonight, or I'm not going to do this tonight.
Yeah.
And
it
doesn't happen. Maybe one night.
Well, maybe from you doing this, someone's going to open up to you.
Well, yeah, and that's like kind of
someone's going to say,
my
listen,
reasoning why I'm completely open. Even when people ask, like, I don't hide it at all. I'm like, hey, man, like I'm in recovery, like, you know, all that, just in case, like, because if Jay didn't do that and I didn't reach out to him, like,
who knows?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't be sitting here having the same conversation. That's for sure. Wow. But I didn't listen to him completely right away.
Yeah,
he was telling me all the things I needed to hear.
Is he? I know you were telling me that you are in one of these programs, the steps. Did he go into one of those as well?
Yeah.
So I'm very interested about these steps and these classes and surrounding yourself with people that have the exact same. You said it's a disease, right?
Yeah.
So with this exact same disease, talk about your first time going into one of these classes, if you don't mind.
Oh man. So yeah, So they're not classes, they're meetings.
Meetings,
right?
sorry.
There's different fellowships, and I use 3 different ones. And
I'm going to fuck up a bunch here when it comes to the terms here.
I probably will
okay,
too.
Good.
But anyway, after I reached out to him, one thing he kept saying, like, he was telling me all these things in these messages, and he was sending me so much stuff about his journey and his experience and all that. And it was always talking about, I heard some cool things in his messages, but at the end, it always said, like, get into a meeting. And, so I was taking everything else he was saying.
Except for the meeting.
And I was like, oh, man, I can't walk into one of those things. Because it's scary, right? Like,
of course.
And you're like, oh, man. Or you start saying, like, no, I'm not that bad, man. Yeah. But because it's all fear-based, and then you're lying to yourself and all that stuff, right? And then I kind of told my brother and cousin were 2 guys who, like, I kind of let in back then.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, man, like, I just want to let you guys know, like, I know it's kind of going downhill right now, but I've reached out to a guy, and I told him, I'm like, I'm going to try to figure this out. And that was like September.
This was a while ago.
Yeah.
Almost
but then
9 months ago.
Yeah. And then, like, because I was only listening to what I wanted to hear, what Jay was telling me, it didn't work. I didn't go to a meeting. I was like, oh yeah, cool. And I tried a couple little things. Didn't work. Right. And then at Christmas, like when I got there, like Christmas was just, can get pretty ugly. Yeah.
Did you go back to Cape Breton?
Yeah, I was back there. And then it was like, after that, my brother kind of like had a shout out, and he's like, look, man, like, I know we were talking about, like, you reached out to this guy. He's like, whatever you're doing obviously didn't work, because it's almost like you're worse now than it was. So he's like, so let's figure this out. And
good for your brother.
Oh, 100%. I owe him.
To, like,
yeah. Oh, man.
Step up to the plate.
Yeah, he did everything for me, right? So, but it was definitely reaching out to Jay, and Jay being open online first gave me that, like, pathway to lead me, right? And then when Brett reached back out to be like, look, man, like, we got to figure something out. I was so done. I'm just like, absolutely, like, I have to. So he's like, come stay with me, all that. So I went up, moved in with him and his girlfriend. Like, thank God they were there. They were like angels for me, man. It was kind of like the boys weren't allowed over and all that. Yeah, so as far as the first meeting went, I came up to Halifax the Monday. Tuesday night was the first meeting. Brett and Cousiner came with me to, like, drop me off and, like, walk in with me.
So they came in the first meeting with you?
They didn't come in the meeting. They went into the building.
So they just waited in the lobby?
Yeah. We were, like, hanging out, and I was like, all right.
This is it.
I walked up the stairs, and, like, I saw the room, and I just kind of stopped. And I was like, whew, I don't know, man. I don't know if I really need this, whatever. And I was, like, just kind of, like, killing time. Like, I knew I had, like, 10 minutes before it started.
Were you the first one there, or were there other people?
No, there's people in the meeting already.
So what's the feeling when you're sitting there just waiting for the class to start? Are you just thinking...
Well, I wasn't in there yet. This is still in the lobby.
Oh, you're... Okay.
But I went upstairs, so they were downstairs. And then I was standing there, and I was like, oh, I just kind of, like, stopped. Like, oh, man.
Your whole body froze.
Frozen. And I was, like, going to turn around and just go, like, I don't know what I wasn't going to leave. Like, I knew I was going to go in.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't get. And then I turned around and looked over my shoulder, and Brett and Brad were coming up the stairs behind me. And I was like, oh, man, I got to go now.
I just know the feeling. I don't know, like, the feeling, but yeah. I just know the level of nervousness you were at.
And oh, my God, man.
It's just, I know, it's almost like when you're walking. Actually, you know what? What am I saying? I can't relate to that at all. That's a completely different.
Nah, you probably had a similar feeling.
Okay, anyway.
Way out of the comfort zone. But I remember even, like, after, like, looking back, I was sitting down with Cousiner, and we were chatting, and he was like, man, he's like, I could only imagine what you were feeling like that day. It was because when I came up and you were about to go in, my heart was beating. He was like, I could feel it, like, beating.
Because essentially you're just opening yourself up to a whole other world. You're like, okay, I got a problem. And that's tough for a lot of people to do.
Big time. Yeah.
As soon as you walk into that room, it's like, okay, I got a problem.
Yeah, but as soon as you walk into those rooms, it's like the weight of the world came off my shoulders, man. It's like, it was like 5 minutes in there, and I was just like,
breathe.
It's 2 things happen. 1, you're relieved. You're like, okay, there's answers. And 2, you're like, oh, it's a strange feeling when you realize that you do have to be there.
Well, what was that?
Like admitting, like when you're hearing what they're talking about and what they're sharing, and you're like, oh, yeah, you're right. Like, I definitely do need to be here, because it's all like all this symptoms and all this, things that happen. There's all coping mechanisms, right, for like your fears and your anxieties and all that. So like what happens in these meetings is people share their stories and share their experience and share their recovery. And you realize that like everything that's been going on inside of your head
is going on in their head.
That's been messing you up and you know, making you turn towards that is like so similar to every single one else who has the same issue. And that's what they are, right? You sit there and you share, because every time you go in there, you hear something, and it's like they're picking it out of your brain. So when you first hear it, you're just like, it's such a relief. Because you're like, oh, I just thought I was insane.
Yeah.
Like I thought I was insane inside of my head.
Yeah.
But it's no, because I have this disease that other people have. But when you sit down and you help each other with it, and that's all it is, like, you know, it's kind of like the what now. Once you get over the first hump, then it's like the what now. Like, how do I go about daily life now, when that's how we used to always go about it, like, you know, more times than not. So now they share their experience on, you know, things that happen now, even some of them years and years and years, clean or sober. And they still have to, you know, check in with themselves, and still things happen that,
wow,
you know, the meetings help because you hear other people who deal with the same things, right? But yeah, I'm glad I walked in, man. Changed my life.
I'm so happy for you, man. I'm proud of you too.
It's a long road too, right? Like it can get dark. You can isolate yourself. It gets strange. So you don't know, like, you know, you get in denial about it and all that stuff. And I was the best. I was the best at showing up with a smile on my face.
You fooled me.
Years, man. Everybody, right? But like inside, it's like you're tied up. And then sometimes like you need to go too far to really realize. But it just got to the point, man, where I was like, I'm done messing things up and I'm not enjoying life, you know? It gets weird.
But it's things like this. It's conversations like this. Because don't get me wrong, I think it's great that what you're doing for yourself, you're becoming more healthier mentally, physically, not drinking, not doing anything. That's great. But the butterfly effect, the ripple effect from this is going to be tremendous. I guarantee your Instagram will be not flooded, but there'll be people messaging you saying, hey, listen, I think I need the exact same thing. Can I come to a meeting with you? It will happen, because you might not know it, but you're in the public eye. You haven't even announced what you're going to be doing yet later on this summer. But man, that's huge, especially in the mental health era right now. Yeah, that's massive.
It's so good that like you can have the conversation now, right? You don't need to tough it out. It's definitely more acceptable, and that's not even just for like, you know, alcoholism or addiction. That can be for any anxiety, depression. Like it's like just going and finding like who you need to talk to is there now. Yeah. But the problem is like it's still scary to go look for it.
What do you mean?
Like it's still scary to get yourself
prepared
to reach out that first time.
Because that's essentially admitting to someone.
That's where but the more people share and the more people are open, the more comfortable other people may get. But the initial like reach outs, it's a hard thing to do, right? Yeah. But and like I said, like if Jay wasn't open about his, like I don't know if I would have ever found out where to turn to, like, or got turned the proper direction, right? Wow. So that's, you know, and so if anyone needs to reach out, like there's people to reach out to. But you need to find someone you can relate to and respect a little bit too, right?
But that's why I say you're the perfect guy, because you have that athletic bone, you have the artistic bone, sure, right? And you have the social bone. You have, like I said in the intro, again, you're a guy that has the whole package. You got the looks, you got the athletic ability, you have the talent. You're just the guy that can relate to so many people within Atlantic Canada. That's why I think you're a perfect role model for people to reach out to. Yeah, there's a lot of this stuff
like in all the kind of places where I came from, like, you know, there's a lot of guys who were playing junior hockey. Like when you lose hockey, there's this void there, right? Yeah. So, you know, a lot of guys get into trouble with that stuff. Like it takes a bad road that way, right? That definitely played into mine. Like when hockey's over, it's like, fuck, where do you fill it, right? Yeah. And then there's like the bar industry, man. Like it's a wild place to live, right? It's a hard place to maneuver through. And you can get stuck in ruts and all that stuff, right? Yeah. And you just get stuck in a spot and you just don't know how to get out of it, right?
Oh, it's a fun time.
Yeah. It's fun until it's not fun. You know what I mean? Like it's all fun and games until like, and all of a sudden it's like, this isn't that fun anymore, man. Like this is getting pretty dark and things aren't working out my way.
Well, I think it's the people that realize that, not even in the bar industry, but in the music industry, the industry that you're in, man. Like we were talking right before the podcast start. It's hard to eat healthy when you're on the road every day. It's hard to, you know, to just not have that couple of beer before bed. It's hard to say no to some of these things that, you know, when you're living not a regular life, but a life where you have a regular routine, I guess, where you're able to eat healthy, go to bed, wake up, work out. You can't do that, especially in the bar industry as well. The hours are ridiculous when you're working till 4 a.m, coming home at 6.
And like in the bar industry and the music industry, is like, it's such an acceptable life to live, right? Like, it's so acceptable.
Yeah.
It's like, it's seen as the normal thing. Like, that's what you're supposed to do when you're in the bar industry, when you're in the music industry, right? So like, it just doesn't have to be, but it doesn't have to be that way. Even now, like, I'm out all the time playing. Like, I'm enjoying it way more than I ever was.
So yeah, that was my next question. How has your life and your work changed, I guess, just since like, the change? It's
incredible. Like, now, like, when I'm playing, like, I'm actually there now. Like, I'm enjoying it.
So explain that in further detail, though. You're there.
Like, I think, well, and that's just not with my music. That's just in everyday life now.
Like in every conversation.
Every time I hang out with anybody, you know, whether I'm playing a gig or having lunch with somebody or whatever it is, like, I'm present all the time. Like, when I'm here, like, I'm here. Like, I'm not like,
you're not thinking
worrying about the demons and worrying about, you know, or I'm not out of my mind and I'm not just getting through it and partying and whatever. I'm not masking things. Like, now, like, when I'm hanging out with my buddies, like, I'm there. Like, I'm so much more present. Now when I'm on stage, like, I'm there now. You know, so it's just a more like, you get so much more out of it like that.
Do you like performing sober more?
I do now.
Yeah?
I do now, yeah. I did. Not that I didn't at the start, but it took me just the comfort level.
What was the adjustment to it the first time?
It was just so new.
Yeah?
Like, it's just... Like, I struggled to settle in on stage.
I always heard, tell me if I'm wrong, but when you're done a song and there's that a minute in between songs where you have to talk to the crowd, I heard that that's tough for some artists because when you're up there, you're just, you know, you sing and then you go to the next song. But you know the period I'm talking about when you're changing songs. Was that tough for you when you're sober compared to when you have a couple beers?
Yeah, that's something I'm not great at anyway. Some guys master that in between. I'm not great at it. It's something I want to try to work on.
Yeah.
The first time I got back on stage, luckily, it was a songwriter circle that I put on.
Oh yeah.
And it was with 2 of my good buddies.
Who?
Rusty James and Jordan Musician.
Okay.
And so that helped because they knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And they knew like my situation. They were like, you know, I chatted with them guys a bunch about it. They were super supportive. And I was around them so much leading up to this so like when I was on stage, like I was in between the 2 of them. So it just made me like in a little comfort zone. But it's just an adjustment, right? Like I couldn't have that beer to loosen up at the start. Like you're just, but and that just like, it got better while I did it more. Like I just had to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I couldn't be scared to get up there and do it. Like I just had to keep doing it to get better. And now I'm fine.
So in order to stay fine though, because you're going to be in this industry for a long time, I'm assuming, and in this industry, there's always beers in the green room. There's always, so what are maybe some of the steps in order to avoid that and just, because the temptations are going to be there for the rest of your career.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the issue. And that's why like I need to stay close to like the program I work to stay this way, right?
So do you have someone that you can call at all times?
Like I have a sponsor, and even just like when you get in these rooms, man, like there's so many people, like I talk to people every day who are
sober.
Yeah, we're in the recovery and in meetings that I'm in, and you just turn into buddies, like, and you can relate to them, right? But they're always just like a phone call away. But I don't know. Right now, I'm just very careful. Like when I go, like I have a plan in place. Like,
so, what do you mean?
Like if something happens, like if this situation pans out, like I can't stick around. Like I just go. Like
if
you
just leave.
Yeah, like I just gotta go. Like at this point,
really,
right? It's just, but. I don't know. I'm pretty comfortable in it. Like I don't mind being around it right now.
Yeah.
I know like a lot of people who can't.
But the conversation must come up like, hey, why aren't you having a beer, Wayne?
Yeah, that's really annoying.
And you must have to answer.
Yeah, and a lot of people kind of just do the like, oh, just don't want them. But I straight up just tell them, like, I open it up right away. It's just easier for me.
Because then you don't have to explain it again.
And then I don't have to explain it ever again. Like, so if I can just be open and be like, oh no, like, I'm sober, I'm clean and sober, man. Like no more beers, no more anything else.
Yeah.
And like, you know, for a little while, like I was out really early back on the bars. Like I was like 15 days and I shouldn't have been out already, but I had some gigs to play. And when you tell them back then, they're like, oh yeah, how long? And you're like, oh, 12 days. Like to them, they're like, oh, like kind of shake their head. Like who cares? Like,
yeah.
But like if anyone has done recovery or anyone who is in a bad spot who try to not do it for 12 days. 12 days is a long time at the start.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and anyone who's gone through it knows, like, 12 days isn't just 12 days. Like, it's 12 days. But now that I'm further along, when I open it up and they're like, oh, how long? And I tell them, they're like, oh, wow. But the music industry is so supportive, similar as, like, the hockey community would be. Is they're so respectful of it, right? Like, and they're so supportive. They're just like, man, they're so happy. They're just like, good for you, man. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Because there's a lot of guys, like, you lose a lot of guys, right, from addiction and from, like, through that. And you know there's a lot of guys in the industry who need help, right, and won't get out. So, like, when you tell them, they're like, man, that's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
And they genuinely mean it, right? So I find it easier to just straight up be on the table with it.
That's great.
And not like it makes some people uncomfortable, but that's not the point of it. Like, it just...
Yeah.
I'd have a hard time, like, trying to maneuver through the night.
Yeah.
Just trying to, like,
get through it,
get around it and avoid it. Like, but if you're open, people just respect it. And, like, I'm still myself. Like, I haven't changed as a person.
Yeah.
So I'm still around. I'm still hanging out. Like, I'm still doing the same things. So, like, I haven't changed that much on that side of things. Mm. But if I'm open about it, like, as soon as they see that, they're comfortable around it again too. And it's a fine line too. Is like, you know, like, it makes other people uncomfortable sometimes.
I was gonna say that
because, like, they kind of subconsciously start thinking about themselves. And, like, when we went
and grabbed coffee a month ago,
you did the same thing.
I did the exact same thing.
Yeah, and, like, you were forever having an issue with it, right?
Oh yeah, of course, yes. But there's still a part when you started talking about how, you know, your life has changed for the better and the things that are happening towards you, and I was like, wow, like, it's really working for him. And it's not that I have a problem right now, but I'll go out and I'll get drunk next Saturday.
But there's a
difference,
right?
I know there is.
There's a big difference between going out and having a good time, and that's where my side is like, I'm never going to be preachy to anybody about, oh, you got to get sober.
But I didn't think you were preachy that month ago. I didn't think that at all.
My thing about being open is, like, it's not to be like, oh, everyone needs to go sober because it's better.
Yeah.
It's like, no. Mine's like, if you have a problem and you're struggling with it, and you don't know where to go, and you've tried things and it's not working, and you're in a bad spot, like, come talk to me.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? I can guide you. Like, I don't know the answers, but we can figure it out.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to be like, I'll go out with my buddies and sit around and let them, like, they'll drink beer around me all night. Like, it's not a big deal. I'm on stage with Jordan and Rusty that night. They both have beers. Like, it's not a big deal. I'm never going to be like, oh, you guys need to change. Like, no, if you don't have a problem, you can go out and enjoy yourself. You can go out and enjoy yourself. There's a difference, right?
Yeah.
But my thing is, like, if I'm open, it makes my night easier, and people will just leave it and be like, oh, cool. Like, they respect it.
Yeah.
And it may end up leading to somebody who's like, oh man, I could really talk to you about that. So there's a difference between, you know, having a good time and having a problem, right?
Let's change the page here a bit.
Okay.
Let's go to the opportunity that has recently not fallen, but has been given to you. I don't know how to say it, but let's talk about it. Like, it's amazing. You're gonna be in LA, like, before you know it, you're gonna be in Hollywood. Anyways, so just tell it.
So the old music career's gonna take a little turn for a little while here in May. Well, I'll start it now.
Tell the story about how you said no, and then eventually you just said yes.
So, well, I guess I'll just get it out. So I'm going to be playing Danny Zuko in Greece at the Savoy Theater at the end of May. So one of my friends is, like, big in she sings with me and stuff when she's out and about. She's big in the theater, like, for years now. And in the summer, she brought it up to me, and I was just like, absolutely not. Like, not a chance am I doing that.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, not a chance. And then, I don't know, I guess time went by, and they're still looking for someone to be Danny. And then, it just, I don't know, I started getting some messages from the director and her again, and the music director, and people were like, you know, kind of coming out, and I went down, I chatted with them. Luckily, it was after, it was like shortly after I started getting sober and clean. So then when I got down there and I chatted with the music director, Steve Muse, and we did a couple songs, and he was like, man, it's kind of like, it's here if you want it. And I said yes, and I was like, yeah, now here we are. It's coming around the corner. I don't know.
How many people audition for the role, do you know?
I'm not sure. I really don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
And you just stumble in there and get it.
Here we go, yeah.
That's amazing.
So I'm in a musical.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I bet people wake up dreaming for that position and you just happen to
Wasn't me.
Like, it wasn't me. Yeah. We're playing hockey. You're just in the washroom just trying to be Danny. Just one day I'll be Danny.
And then there's the other side is like, if they asked me to be any other character in any other musical, I probably would have said no.
Yeah, but it's Danny.
They're like, do you want to be Danny from Grease? I'm like,
kind of a legend.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that'd be cool.
So how's it going?
Oh, it's fun, man. It's good.
Is it?
It's a lot of work. Yeah. So I've been down and back in Cape Breton doing that like 5-6 times a week, but it's a blast. So the there's 5 shows starting May 22nd.
Okay.
And it's fun, man. Like
at the Fiddle?
No, in Glace Bay at the Savoy Theater.
Okay.
It's like,
Sick.
Historic theater down there. Yeah, it's great. Like the director, Ron Jenkins, is awesome. So working with him, getting some acting tips.
Do you struggle with remembering lines? Or do you got them all down packed?
I definitely don't have them all down pat yet, but it's just like, it's repetitive, right? You just gotta do it over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Then like the choreography, tons of dancing.
Tons of dancing. A lot of hip shaking.
A lot of hip shaking, man. It's a workout. Like I'm like exhausted when I get home. Yeah, Cindy Vokey runs a tight ship. She's the choreographer.
Do you ever have to jump on top of a car and dance?
There's a car.
There's a car, isn't there?
There is
like
a
Thunderbird or something.
There's a car. It's fun, man. It's been a blast. And Steve Muse is the music director. He's like unbelievable.
Yeah.
So working with them guys is super fun. Yeah, it's a different it's a change of pace, that's for sure.
Well, I'm trying to think, like, you grew up playing hockey your whole life. You're in a room, and now you're in like a dressing room putting makeup on. It's like, oh, well, I guess so. It works. It works.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Right on.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a blast to be around, man.
Is it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
You're saying the hours were long. You started at 6, end at what, 10 or something?
They're all different, but yeah, it's a lot of work goes into it, man. I knew not that I didn't think it wasn't going to be a lot of work.
Yeah,
I didn't realize how much it goes into these things. Man.
What's like the biggest challenge that you face because of it all? Lines,
yeah, like.
The physical aspect of it.
Yeah, it's definitely physical. It's good for like my other music too. Like one thing I don't do in my own music is like control my voice.
Yeah.
Like even when I'm writing songs.
Yeah.
Like I just let my voice do what it's gonna do.
Yeah.
So like I don't mind the dancing. The dancing's kind of like, I look at it like hockey practice. Like when they show you a drill and you do the drill over and over, you're not gonna forget it. It's muscle memory all of a sudden, right?
Yeah.
So once you do it, so it's just repetitive. But it's the like controlling my voice to hit certain notes at certain times.
Yeah.
Is a big challenge for me because I sing all the time, but I just sing my own way.
But now you're singing
where now
a different
it's like,
way.
You need to hit this note here. And it's like, and like, you really need to think about it and you need to like do different exercises to be able to do that. But like working with Steve Muse and Jen Shepard, they've been great to like, work with me to show me. But it takes a lot of work, man. That's the one thing that I've noticed was like, but it'll benefit even my other music in the end, right? So it's a good good practice to get into.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
I'm happy for you. That's great. I'm gonna try to come up to Cape Breton and see one.
I gotta come up and see it. It'll be worth it.
Would we be allowed backstage? Do you think, like filming you?
Maybe you won't be able to film any of the on stage.
Yeah, no on stage. Yeah, but like backstage, like a behind the scenes day, that would be great.
Yeah. I'll bring it back to them and see what they say. That'd be fun.
Maybe it would be great. Like just like we'll go get breakfast with you or something, and we'll go get. Is there rehearsals? Like
there won't be that day, but there'll be like, I don't know. I'm not honestly. I don't really know. I've never done one before.
You're just going with the flow, whatever you're told.
I'm not sure how it works. Yeah, I just show up when they tell me to show up.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to picture you. You got a leather jacket?
I rock one every day.
You got a bunch of hair gel?
Yeah.
You got to slick it back?
They said I should just go method and just be Danny Zuko 24/7.
Method actually, just walk. You do this podcast. It's so funny.
Like when I agreed to do it, like I saw Grease, but not for a long time.
What?
Like I saw the movie Grease, but not for a long time. So then like I agreed to do it, and I was like, yeah, cool. And then like I threw it on, and I was just like, what did I get myself into? Like watching Travolta running around. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, what am I thinking? Like, what do I think I can do this?
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's something.
I gotta come up and
see.
I don't know if I can. I'm not making fun of you, but I don't know if I'll be able to keep a straight face.
No,
like, just watching you.
Yeah. All the boys are coming down like for the Saturday, like Cousin and O'Neill and them. Yeah. So that's going to be a hard one to get through.
I think I'm going to watch the movie again too, just to... all right, man. That's Wayner now.
Yeah, that's me, man. Full on.
No, man, that's awesome.
Yeah,
all right,
that's good.
Let's talk about the music career. Back to that. Where's the next thing? Where are you going?
Right now, the next couple things, I got some cool things going on. Like May's going to be really busy with that.
May?
And then, April. Yeah,
April, May.
I have one coming up. I started putting together these songwriter circles at Taylor.
Okay.
So we did one so far. That was my first gig back.
Yeah.
So it was with Jordan Musician and Rusty James. It went over well. So now I'm throwing another one. I guess it's next weekend, next Saturday, with Brian Cathcart from Pretty Archie and Brandon Bates from Broken Road.
Yeah.
They're brothers, actually. So that's going to be a cool one. And then I got another one lined up in early July with Carmen Townsend and Colette DeVoe. So I'm super fired up for that.
Sick.
So yeah, Songwriter Circles, it's so fun to do it that way.
Did you meet Alan Doyle?
Yeah, so that was when we were setting up. Yeah, that's right. We were setting up for our Songwriter Circle.
So that's what that was.
That's what it was. It was me, Jordan, and Rusty.
What's he like as a guy?
He didn't say much. Like he was playing at the Savoy where Greece is.
Okay.
It's just up the street from Taylor.
Yeah.
And that's where I played there one time. Jim Cuddy was playing at the Savoy and he came down at Taylor while I was playing.
Yeah.
And then so Alan Doyle was in there having lunch. We were setting up, and actually in Jordan Musician's bio, Alan Doyle was like hosting a radio show one time.
Yeah.
And he played one of Jordan's songs. Alan Doyle did while he was hosting the radio show.
Yeah.
And it said like Jordan never met him, but it said like Jordan Musician's a great storyteller and whatever it said. Like he had a comment, and when you open Jordan's like bio, it has Alan Doyle's comment like quoted Alan Doyle.
Sick.
So on the Taylor Songwriter Circle. Yeah. Promotion, like we all had bios and Jordan's had an Alan Doyle quote, and then Alan Doyle was there.
That's
they
sick.
never met, so yeah. So we just had a quick chat. It wasn't like a long conversation or anything, but yeah, it was sweet.
That's a guy I would love to get on here one day. I bet that guy has stories for days.
Oh my god, man, I could only imagine.
And then I saw
He's been around for so long, too.
So long. He performed at. I saw him perform the other day. Don't ask me how or where. Where was it? The convention center, Halifax Convention Center. He was just there with the
it was for
singing.
a trade show.
Yeah.
There's a trade show going on. Were you there?
I was there. No, I was just there.
you just end up everywhere now.
Man, that's what I tell you, like about these things. Like when we were at Classifieds the other day, I'm not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey man, I get you. I don't think that feeling will ever go away. I get that on stage all the time, and now I'm getting it at Greece. Like I'm not supposed to be here.
Yeah. When we're in Boston, I'm not supposed to be here. Yeah.
But I also remembered Brian from Pretty Arch. I was having a conversation with him in the summer. And they were just, after getting back from Denmark, they did like a festival over there.
Yeah.
And I remember him being like, he's like, yeah, man. He's like, doesn't matter like who you play for, where you play. He goes, I don't think you're ever going to feel like you're supposed to be there. No matter where you get to, you're always just like, what am I doing here? How did I get here?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess that's the cool part of it, right?
I guess so. When you're there, you just kind of go with the flow and don't think about it. But when you come home and go to bed at night, you're like, what did I just do?
Yeah. I think that's that's why it's so cool.
It is. Well, I guess so. That's the cool part of it.
Yeah. And then we have a Sniggly Wiggly show coming up.
I love that place.
May 4th. Yeah. So that'll be good. So we're going over to have some people coming up from Cape Breton to play. So there's going to be 4 of us.
Yeah.
So it's going to be awesome. It's going to be me, Jordan Musician, Carmen Townsend, and Colette DeVoe.
Okay.
So we're all heading over to the ECMAs on the Thursday and then into Halifax on Saturday night to play Sniggly's.
Man, you're on the road. You're actually doing this.
Yeah.
You're everywhere.
Fun. Yeah. Some cool things are happening. Luckily, I'm actually here now and I'm not like, I can wake up in the morning the next day after shows.
Did you figure out how to drive standard yet, the car?
Oh, yeah.
So
not that bad.
So
was that when we were...
Yeah, we went to Starbucks. And like a month ago, Wayne and I went to go get Starbucks just to talk, chat, meet up. And was it your brother's car?
My brother's car,
And he's just like, man, I don't know how to fucking drive standard here. So hopefully we get out of the parking lot. So he's trying to put it in reverse.
I have a lot of standard driving stories, man. I remember the first day Brett was happening, like I had to drop Brett off at the airport and then take his car, and I never drove a standard before.
Yeah.
And somehow on the highway, I like shifted down and the car just like jolted, and Brett had a white t-shirt on. He was sitting passenger seat, and I didn't want to drive a standard. And I was like, I was doing the rant of like, why do people drive standards anyway? Like, this is stupid. Like, why can't you just put it in drive? And Brett's like, it's fun. Oh yeah, Brett, I'm having a ton of fun driving this car. Like, it's not fun. He had a big coffee stain down the front of his shirt. But me and I don't know if you know my buddy Adam Cadigan. One night I had Brett's car, and I think we were home for like I don't know, Easter weekend or something when we were younger. I had Brett's Standard, and we were in Tim Hortons drive-through.
Yeah.
After having a little puff of something, and I was in the drive-through, and I couldn't get through the drive-through. Like, my car just kept stalling and, like, jolting forward.
Was there people behind you?
Up to the window, and it was like, boom, boom, boom. And there was, like, 6 cops inside of Tim Hortons, and I'm, like, out in the Standard, just, like, slowly moving ahead. I remember, like, we were petrified. But, yeah, so I'm not that comfortable in the Standard.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Well, if you're on the road and you're in the Standard, you'll figure it out. I guess it's easy to drive on the highway, just less in the city.
Yeah,
it's harder to drive.
Yeah.
Parking on the hills in Halifax.
It's a struggle, man. It's a struggle.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're living in Halifax now?
Right now, I'm back in Cape Breton.
For the rehearsals.
Yeah, rehearsals, because it's like pretty much 5-6 times a week. So I'll be back there until the end of May. Then back to Halifax for the beginning of June, man.
Unreal.
Yeah, so got some gigs lined up here, and then I got some back at home. But yeah, I got some steady gigs up here for June and stuff. So I'll be around the city, man.
You're living the dream.
Trying to, man. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, so are you.
Yeah, I guess so.
This is cool.
I guess so. Thanks for buying the raffle tickets, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Wayner, as soon as he came in here, I pitched him. I was like, hey, you got to buy some raffle tickets.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, no problem. Bought 2. That's our flight to Thunder Bay.
Not my 2.
Yeah, we needed 20 more bucks.
Did you really?
Yeah. Well, not really, but that'll buy us.
Player's name, Justin Belanger.
I did play there.
It's true. I was thinking, I don't think you played. You weren't with the Knicks when I was with.
Because I was 2 years.
Right.
I didn't make the team 2 years in a row. I played high school.
Yeah.
And then, did you play all 3 years in midget?
No, I did the same thing. I played 2 years of high school.
I loved high school hockey.
Yeah, that was fun, man.
Because you get to play in front of your friends, and then you get to go to school and be with all your teammates. Imagine if everyone from your major midget team was at your school. You know what I mean? It's just like that.
Bad.
Yeah, it would be good.
Be a good thing.
Imagine if all of us in the Marauders or Lions all went to school together. That wouldn't be
Some
good
of us
either.
were at St. Mary's at the same time.
I remember when it was me, you, and Brad McDonald. We all used to just sit there, eat pizza from Pizza, and just ask ourselves, what are we doing here?
What are we doing here?
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
I'd go to class, sit there, listen to this old guy speak about the ocean. And I got a game in Campbellton tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we're just sitting there. I'm like, why am I trying to learn? What are we doing? How is this going to benefit me? Doesn't that seem like a lifetime ago?
Oh, man. I was thinking about, yeah. I was like, we need to throw like a reception, like a Lions Marauders reception.
Just get all the boys on the mic.
Get all the guys back, yeah. It'd be fun, man, to have a little gathering somewhere.
It would be. Well, essentially, that's what your shows are.
It's been a long time ago.
That's what your shows are,
Seriously,
man. Every time you have a show, all the boys are like, all right, Wayner's playing, let's go.
I know.
What it is. Troy was at the last one.
Yeah, it's awesome for that, eh?
It's a great time.
Like, yeah, Clarky's always kicking around. Brad.
Clarky came on the podcast.
I know, remember I got you to talk about the Nogler and John.
Great story, by the way. Great story.
Yeah, that is my favorite Clarky story.
That's amazing that you guys were living with him too. I didn't know that. I thought you guys were always downtown.
No, the first year me and Poppy were living with Nogler. Yeah, it was something. We could do a whole series on that.
Well, I got to get Clarky back on too. That guy, he's a teacher now.
Yeah,
he's teaching at. That's a great profession. Like if
Clarky'd be the best teacher.
If someone ever told me what he was going to do for a living, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
100%.
He just loves doing that stuff.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Cool.
Unless you want to say anything else.
No, it's all good, man. Thanks for
Do you want to play
back.
a song? You got the guitar.
Yeah, we can throw one on if you want.
At the end of every podcast, we always end it with a song, like to ease it out. So it might as well be one of your songs. I can pause this and then we'll play it out.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Good to go?
Good to go.
So long, I can't find my way home. same old town, playing the same old show. Dreams lie still across the sky, the ones that ain't been chose. Trade my nights in for days, I suppose. Oh, I suppose. Been running so long, been running so long, been running so long, I can't take it anymore. Surrender to the big old sun, it's been said. I'll stand stubbornly alone with stones as legs. Walk colors of a flower trail, you see it ain't all dead. Patience in each day, doves will fly overhead. Oh, breathe it in. Running so long, running so long, I've been running so long, I can't take it anymore. Not as many around anymore to listen to stories I tell. Well, my truth wasn't cheap, it won't be sold for less than paying. So fare thee well, fare thee well. Running so long, been running so long, I've been running so long, I can't take it anymore. Noise. Get the chair squeaking in it.